I wanted to ask you about love
Mm.
and to be even more specific about the ending of love and to be even more specific about the ending of a relationship and how and what can help a person in this hard, rough period of life of when a relationship, the love relationship, has ended, and the heart is broken, and the mind goes crazy with past, future, even present. What's your response?
Sure, both in the service of the Dharma will have listened to many accounts and stories of the anguish of love
and experienced some.
And of course,
I can speak for myself.
all of that which goes along, and of course, just in the generality before the specific, a very, very substantial amount of culture is around love and the suffering that goes with it. Literature, plays, theatre, books, songs, and then coming down to the specific, there are 56 houses here
in the street.
In this particular street, in instantly forgettable street, but nice street. I've lived in it 40 years and know it rather well there, and I've seen plenty of transitions over the years, and a percentage of them separation. I listened to Paul McCartney singing his songs the other evening, and one of them, Hey Jude, was the concern for Julian, the son of John Lennon and Cynthia, when they were going through their separation and divorce, and there was this concern about the impact of that breakdown of love on the son. So that song's about that as an example. So we see it everywhere now. But coming to the point, the immediate response in all the dynamics, the psychological dynamics, the emotional dynamics, is the heavy cost on one's peace of mind, happiness, of forgetfulness. As you can ask me, bottom line, it is forgetfulness. And the forgetfulness is that the self and the self of the other gained an exaggerated importance. Way, way over the top.
Explain,
in
please.
Which the view from within began to take a priority, no matter how much it changed, as a trigger for all the anguish, suffering, the breakdown, and the view of the other as well, what he, she did or didn't do, whatever. And the dynamics of the intensification of self and other is, in my view, the primary issue. And this forgetfulness is one forgot that it's about love and it's not about self and other. And the outcome of that is breakdown, sadness, sorrow, grief, despair, jealousy, anguish, self-harming thoughts, revenge, attack, blame. Because the love got trapped in the self-other. And staying true to love, regardless of the view that arises, regardless of the behavior of the other, or one's own behavior, or the combination, all of those factors, one just has to remember, stay true to love.
Wow. I cannot, by but remember many years ago when I was in the end of very painful end of a relationship, and I think it was grace, nothing but grace, but this exact thought came to me, and I was like, and I was feeling the love, and then I was feeling the loss, and I was feeling the love and the love, and at some point I felt, but I actually haven't lost anything because the love is there. And that was the changing point, the turning point for me. I do remember it clearly.
These precious moments of seeing clearly, of insight. Whoa, I haven't really lost anything. It really seems to be the reality of it. When it's exaggerated, I mean, there is, obviously there's loss, there is change, and there is death and departure, and
we heard the rumors,
and all the investigation, all the losses and separation. It is part of the that is part of the world which we live in. We know we have given it too much authority through the suffering.
Wow. But I have to be the devil's advocate.
Give me any advocate you like. You can be the angel's advocate.
Let's be the angel's advocate. I'm thinking about all the angels in my life, or I know that are really suffering because of a broken heart and cannot make the leap to the love because the pain is too great.
Yes.
What can be small baby steps in between?
It's one thing to endeavor to make something clear like it did. Suffering is, in this case, is self-indulgence. But the residue of the impressions, to use those words regularly used these days, I think very important, the body remembers.
Yeah.
And the impressions and the sensations and the images and the memories and what might have been, should have been, could be, might be, whoa, they are shockers for consciousness, because day and night they can keep like volcanic eruption.
I was going to say flame.
Yeah, flame, volcanic eruption, which is etc. All of that. So it's going to require back to the eternal vigilance here. So one key feature there, even that, and even when it really has gone deep, and one feels quite some torment over, with all the despairing thought of loss, separation, whatever it might be, even that is not, it might seem like it, really, really permanent. What I mean by that, there will be breaks. Those breaks might be just washing the dishes. Those breaks might be walking into a shop and coffee shop and asking for a latte. And all those moments where there is no torment is the open doorway to taking the mini steps out of the tidal wave to have some normality. And if we forget that, the intensity of the anguish will generate a generalized view which is more problematic than the experience. And the generalized view is, I am suffering so much, I can't get out of it, I'm in it all the time. Fake news, madam. Fake news, sir. This is the belief system. There will be moments when it's quiet. Truly, they can be short-lived. But those moments are a reminder to connect with them. Right now, that's not weighing. Wow, I can still do the housework. I can still go to the shops. I can send my text messages to my friends or whatever. I can still watch the TV. So all of that shows there is some permanence in the experience through one's own experience. That would be one. If it's too strong, I doubt if a person, through their own efforts, will get themselves out of it. The analogy which I use, hand in front of the eyes, there's no space. And then we need the space of the other, from friend to therapist to meditation teacher or wherever, who can listen, reflect back, check, and I see. And now I'm beginning to understand. Oh, now I can take some of the steps. And it's not a teaching of self-reliance. It's a teaching of clarity to know what to do.
Non-self-reliance.
And it's basically a non-self-reliance, exactly. Yeah. And none other dependency, because we still have to live with ourselves. But we should not imagine, that's why we have a network and Sangha and therapists and spiritual teachers and more to help us navigate when it's needed.
Dependency is such an interesting topic. Maybe we'll get a chance to go to it. I was remembering, I think I told you, was it today or yesterday? Memory came to me from the time we sat together in a cafe in Tel Aviv ages ago, and I was just at the end of a relationship, and I was telling you about it and how wonderful it is and how why can't it work and all of that. And you've been telling me very strongly, and I have this one-liner engraved in my mind ever since. Watch that thought as if you watched a cobra in a room, with your accent, I might say. And it's been so helpful, to me and many, many others that I recited very thankfully. The watching of the thought in and of itself can sometimes help us get out of a very painful situations. Others, as I very much agree, as well, they make the space for us to see in many different other ways. And still, I'm insisting, in the quiet hours of the night when somebody's will not go to sleep or wake up in the middle of the night with this, anxiety attack, whatever it's called. What's your clues? Like what could be helpful here?
Well, if it's in the middle of the night, get up.
Get up.
Get out of bed.
Do something else. Huh?
Get right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
otherwise one will lie in the bed drowning in one's own self-pity. One has to move the energy. You can't even think that one's going to be able to lie in the bed and get to sleep if there's that degree of torment. Just coming back to the earlier point and the one-liner. As always, based on experience. Being in the hut, in a forest, coming back to the room, there's a cobra in the hut. What do I do? And watching it, whoa, watch the view. We have to coexist and find a way, etc. But more importantly than that, we underestimate the power of the view, the power of the thought. And we think it's so much about the emotional world. The emotional world is extraordinarily important, but it's not independent of the view.
Exactly. It links together like
that. They rub together mercilessly. And the emotion depends on a certain habitual way of thinking about something, whatever that might be. And part of the challenge is, could we explore changing the view about something in order to change the emotional pain? So to give it a small example, like yourself, or myself, been in relationships, and over the past 40 years, several. One line with myself is, all my relationships have been a great success. It's a little conceited there, but I don't.
You're allowed.
I don't. Maybe this is the old Buddhist monk in me, but maybe some wisdom too. I don't, even from the beginning, imagine
they will last.
That will last till I die. I mean, I just can't imagine it. Especially with either because of Christopher, one, or because I'm never around, which is the one-liner. Christopher, I love you, but you're never here. Whatever, because of the servant of the Dharma role, etc. But more importantly than all of that, so I'm in a relationship, and the partner says, "Oh, you know, Christopher, you have your life, I have my life. You know, I'd really like a baby, and I'm in that been there, done that category, and all the various things." And when the relationship ends, either she, he, or both of us come to an agreement, like with the COVID situation, came to an agreement. She doesn't live in this country, and with that, there is the human, natural, organic feeling of sadness. I would feel almost a bit detached from my emotional life if the relationship ended and I didn't feel any sadness about it. Exactly. Even if I make the decision.
Of course.
You know, it's no easier for the one who makes the decision than it is for the one on the receiving end, which is harder sometimes actually. Oh my God, I made a mistake, you know, blah, blah. So, and that feeling sensation, I don't want to use any view to put weight on it, and then one might get into, oh, what did I do wrong, or what did she do wrong, or feeling upset, or making judgments about myself. Oh gosh, I mean, I'll never be in another relationship. All of that, and the dynamic in the exploration of my own love life and romantic life, and all of that, that I can genuinely, safely say, hand on heart here, there's some period of sadness, and then what begins to come through is all the benefits of not being in a relationship. And pretty quickly. And my deep wish with the one I was in love with and love very much is we together make the transition into really good friendship. Wow. And I think the good women, I like to believe, would say that. And regularly in contact, obviously, there. So there is a kind of process, watching the view, like the cobra, appreciating the feeling of sadness, loss, separation, there, quietly being patient, saying this is, you know, an outcome of the love. Buddha experienced sadness when his best friend died.
Outcome of the loss, I would say.
Outcome of the loss, I mean, outcome of the loss. Then natural, organic, but then the benefits of, in a kind of rebirth, of the opportunities which begin to open up without having to discuss with somebody else what we're going to do, where we're going to go, etc. And quite happy being alone in the bed. You know, even though one had, you know, plenty of immense delight there, but
wow.
And that's what I mean.
So you take the mind into the view of the benefit of not having purposefully,
deliberately.
I
have gone. We went for this lovely walk up the track and the other tracks, and I have walked out of this house and I've gone for walks. And the primary interest after the end of the relationship, with the sadness which may be lingering or may have faded very, very quietly of the motivation. What's the benefits now that this is over and I know she's not coming back? Oh, I'm not going back. And let that begin to permeate.
Whoa, that's precious.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And it's not contrived.
No. It feels like the full length of the experience.
Yes.
Because sadness is a very, it's a natural response of the heart to loss.
Yes.
And obviously.
It isn't in the dukkha category of the Buddha, where dukkha is associated with problematic life, emotionally, except it's not in that field. It's a confirmation of love. And we have to live with the sadnesses.
Yeah. And to be fair, there is a certain degree of self there. Otherwise, there would not be that as well.
Exactly. One would be pretty cold. And detached, cut off from feelings.
Exactly. We need a self. We need that kind of
exactly.
I would say thought of a self as something, but life.